How to cook chicken afritada. Chicken afritada is a traditional Filipino dish made by simmering whole pieces of dark meat chicken in a tomato-based sauce. You can prepare this stew entirely on the stove or braise it in the oven. Here's how to make it at home either way. Stovetop chicken afritada. Marinate the chicken. Combine the soy sauce and black pepper in a large glass dish. Place the chicken pieces in the marinade and cover with plastic wrap. Let soak in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Use a glass or plastic dish. Do not use a metal dish to marinate the chicken. If you do not have a large glass or plastic dish, you could also combine the marinade and chicken in a large resealable plastic bag. Try to use a freezer bag or a marinade bag, since either option will be durable enough to hold the heavy chicken without developing leaks. While chicken thighs and drumsticks are preferable for this recipe, you could also use a whole chicken cut into pieces. Keep the skin on and the bones in. Just be aware that white meat can cook faster than dark meat. Heat the bacon and olive oil. Remove the bacon pieces and transfer them to a plate. Set aside and keep warm. You need to let the bacon render its fat. This will give the dish more flavor. If you do not have bacon or would prefer not to use it, you could double the amount of oil you use instead, and leave the bacon out entirely. If you do not have a Dutch oven, you could also use a large, heavy stockpot with deep sides. Fry the chicken pieces. Remove the chicken pieces from the soy sauce marinade. Add them to the hot oil and fry for 4 to 8 minutes, or until well browned on all sides. Let the excess marinade drain from the chicken before you add it to the hot oil. Dispose of the marinade after removing the chicken. Do not attempt to reuse it, since marinades holding raw meat can become tainted with hazardous bacteria. Turn the chicken pieces periodically using tongs to ensure that all sides are evenly browned. Once browned, transfer the chicken to another plate. Set it aside and keep warm. Cook the garlic and onions. Add the chopped garlic and onions to the oil in the Dutch oven. Cook for 2 to 3 minutes, or until the onion becomes soft and both ingredients become more fragrant. Stir the onion and garlic frequently to prevent them from burning. Burnt ingredients, especially garlic, can destroy the flavor of the dish. Both the onions and garlic should look cooked. The garlic will look golden and the onions will become translucent. Add the tomatoes. The tomatoes will need to soften quite a bit. In this particular recipe, most of the tomato flavor comes from the actual tomatoes. The tomatoes should soften and start breaking down slightly. Stir the contents of the Dutch oven periodically to prevent anything from burning. Scrape the bottom of the pan as you stir to remove the brown bits on the bottom. These will add more flavor to the finished stew. Add the fish sauce, water, and bay leaves. Return the chicken to the Dutch oven and add the fish sauce, water, and bay leaves. Mix well to combine the flavors. If you do not have fish sauce or would prefer not to use it, you could replace it with 1/2 to 1 teaspoon (2.5 to 5 milliliters) of salt. Bring the contents of the dish to a boil over medium-high to high heat, stirring frequently. Let simmer. After the dish boils, turn the heat to medium-low and let the liquid simmer until the chicken becomes tender. This could take anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes. Leave the lid off the Dutch oven as the afritada cooks, and stir the dish periodically. Add the potatoes and carrots. After the chicken is cooked through and tender, add the chopped potatoes and chopped carrots. Cook them in the stew for another 10 minutes. The pieces should be about 1 inch (2.5) thick. If you opt to make them smaller or larger, at least try to keep the vegetable pieces in fairly consistent sizes. Note that larger pieces will likely take longer to cook. Add the bell peppers. Toss the bell pepper into the Dutch oven along with the other ingredients and simmer for another 5 minutes. The peppers should be about the same size as the potatoes and carrots when you add them. Toss in the peas and bacon pieces. Once all of the vegetables are tender, add the peas and bacon pieces. Continue simmering until the peas are tender and the entire dish has been heated through. If using frozen peas, make sure that they have been thawed before adding them to the afritada. Taste test the liquid if desired. You can add more seasonings if the taste seems off. For instance, if the taste seems bitter, mix in 1 tablespoon (15 milliliters) of brown sugar. If you want it to be a bit spicier, try mixing in 1 teaspoon (5 milliliters) of hot sauce. Serve hot. Chicken afritada should be spooned into serving dishes and enjoyed while still steaming hot.